Just when you thought you heard it all, it gets better. Just when you thought it all, thought you heard it all, it gets better and better. Hey, when I put together, and this is just from one of Barry's, was his last night's show. So I put together a little remix separately on my shorts. Hello, Stephen. Barry outdid himself once again. Yes, that's what I'm getting to. Now Popeye comes into this. This is the best one yet. This is the best one yet. Popeye is now accusing Nika for blackmailing me. Yeah.
Wow, Pop, I think people is very sick. How comes they become blackmail to Frank? She's the one asking Frank to help. That's it.
Well,
Nothing more.
actually, no. The truth is that she just basically wrote me to say that her mother passed away. She didn't ask for any money. So how is she blackmailing me for money? I'm the one that said, "Hey, I'll tell you what. Give me your PayPal and your GCash information, and I'll put it out there." She wasn't asking me for any money.
Yeah, she's never asked anything. She just tell Frank what happened to her mom. That's it.
Yeah, that was it. But Popeye making a big thing. And here's this big story with Popeye now. Popeye is claiming that this poor polio-stricken gal whose mother just died, right? She's blackmailing me, and what Popeye says is that she's basically kind of, figuratively holding a gun to my head, saying if you don't get people to send me money, you don't send me money. I'm going to tell the real story of what really happened. Well, there's nothing that happened, and she's not blackmailing me. She didn't ask me for money. Popeye is on that same desperate level as Barry is.
Yeah.
I love just from one show. I mean, this is like one of the better shows that Barry put on. I call it a show, but I call it a stage of a fool putting himself on stage. And on the other hand, Barry is, and you've seen the shorts. If you haven't, go take a look at about 5 or 6 of them, at least 6. Barry, on one hand, is saying, "No, I don't think Frank ever put his hands on a child. I don't think he would ever do that." But yet, he continues calling me a pedo. Now, a pedo is somebody that's going to do that kind of harm to a child, and it's definitely going to be physical. But then he turned around, "No, I don't think he'd ever do anything like that." But he sang a song. Oh, Jesus Christ, with this song. What do you think about this shit, Gilda?
He's a sick person.
Are these people not sick or
Yeah,
what?
he's very sick person.
Yeah. Well, Popeye's just as sick. "Oh, you wait till you come get deported to America. I'm going to put cases on you." Why don't you watch those reruns of General Hospital or something? Maybe it'll get you back into your normal fashion of what you do every day, instead of making YouTube your new soap opera. I mean, blackmail? Yeah, I sent that. I sent that over to Nika. She'll get it this morning and all that. No, Nika's not blackmailing me. It's
Yeah,
just,
you just make the story.
yeah, I know. Just making a story. And I got my boots on the ground. I got my boots on the ground. Yeah, you better wear boots because you're constantly stepping in shit, Popeye. You need boots. And I got it from reliable sources. What, who, Brevis? Reliable sources? Who? Don C? Who? Reliable sources that she's blackmailing Frank to make money from him, that she's going to say, if you don't get me money for my problems, that I'm going to do something or an interview to get it all out of what really happened. I think we've been through this before, haven't we not? There's nothing that happened. There was even a statement from Nika herself that says nothing ever happened. So, boots on the ground that's covered in shit. Change those boots, Popeye. Amazing. How sick does this get? And Barry comes on, I'm not going to talk about Frank no more. If you don't talk about me, well, I actually wasn't. But then he came on and, he can't stop him, so... Then he keeps on making a mistake. Oh, my girlfriend. My wife. Freudian slip or whatever. Oh, my wife. We all know he never got married. But enjoy those shorts. And it's really hard to tell whether it's an autobiography or not. When he puts on a show, he doesn't understand what projecting actually is. And he is projecting. But he's using it in a different a reality in his mind, or what he thinks is a reality, and what projecting is. Then he's talking about how Barry's talking about how, his kids were adopted by somebody else. So in other words, his wife moved on, married a nice gentleman, I would hope. And she's happier now being away from him. But he clearly says that the child was adopted, which means that he didn't play part as having his child in his life. He didn't play the part as Dada. Obviously not. Where was he in the child's life? The child had to be adopted out. Man, that says an encyclopedia, or says a shitload of Google right there. Oh, I cheated. I had 2 small cookies here.
Yeah, I
to
want
go with my
also,
tea.
but I think I just gave it to you now.
You can spoil yourself a couple of, they're so tiny, these cookies are so tiny, aren't they? Yeah. So the bullshit that's coming out of Barry's mouth, it's normal. I was going to say it's incredible, but no, this is atypical coming from him. And, my lawyer's going to do this, my lawyer's going to do that. Well, that's your lawyer's job. I have no complaint to what his so-called lawyer is, but here's the thing that still gets me. If he has a new lawyer, if she was doing her job, him or her...
Where's the old lawyer?
Yeah, the old lawyer quit on him. Right, thank you, Gilda. Right. If she was doing her job, you would not be on YouTube still making these really defaming videos. Again, here we go. That got you in trouble in the first place. Does that make any sense to you, dear? That he can't see you shaking your head. This is we're not on camera. No. You have to actually talk. Okay. Yeah. Clint says, what a bunch of freaks. I know. He said he supported his son. He left his kid. Yes, you're right, Stefan. He didn't support his son. He still hasn't. He's trying to make this false claims of a relationship with his child when the kid doesn't even want to communicate with him. Doesn't even want to communicate with him. All these years. In fact, the kid probably wants to beat the shit out of him if you ever seen him. The fact is, he owes child support. He keeps on talking about this civil case and why you owe $60,000. I think you owe a whole lot more than that, Joe Blow. I think you owe a lot more than that. And it's probably gone to a felony level in the States. How many years has it been? And figure what the mathematics are and what the child support would be per month over how many years. You abandoned your child, son. You abandon your child. You abandon Cheyenne, your girl, your daughter, that you claim is not your daughter. How do I know her name then? Cheyenne. You're going to disagree? That's not your daughter's name. It's Cheyenne. Cheyenne, I believe is correct spelling. Cheyenne.
Shane?
Cheyenne. It's like the Indian name, like a Cheyenne Indian, you know. He said he supported his son. When? He left his kid. You're right, Stefan. He left his kid. Trying to play the daddy hero. He's not a hero with his children.
No, they don't like kids because they always talk about my 8 kids.
And he says he hates kids. And he hates everything. He hates dogs, cats. I hate kids. I don't want kids. Maybe this is projecting. Now I'm trying to make you understand the definition of projecting. Son.
We love kids.
You know, you love kids. If you love kids, you'd be supporting, and would have been supporting, paying the child support for your children is what you should have been doing. And you love them that much. Only people I love is myself, my girlfriend. No, how did he put it? Yeah. The only people I love is myself, my son, and my girlfriend. Ooh, Freudian slip. He meant wife, didn't he? And he made that mistake several times on his last show in reference to his so-called wife. Kept on calling her girlfriend. But Barry wouldn't lie about that, would he? He's a happily married man now. You gotta love this shit, Gilda, don't you? You know. He said that Gilda never listens to his shows.
I always listening.
She's laughing at us. She says, I always listen. So you're telling us about ourselves as if like you're living here and you know everything that's going on. And I got a small dick. I got erectile dysfunction. I don't know. She seems to be happy, you know. So, I mean, if I got a small dick and I got erectile dysfunction, well, either she's a very loyal person to me and stays with me, or she has no problem with my sexuality or my sexual function. It's those people that are saying these kind of statements are the ones that are having some kind of an issue sexually. I mean, that's usually the case. When you have to tell people how big your dick is all the time, it usually means the opposite. Yeah. Generally speaking. Stefan says, it's very strange when Barry says he'll never be in a room himself with a child or woman. It's like he can't control himself like he would do something. That's kind of strange. Yeah. Yeah, this is projection. You know, all this talk about, you know how he's been, like I've been saying, and this is worthwhile having a smoke for. I'm going to grab a smoke. Do you mind, guys? I'm not going to hide the fact I'm smoking like he is. He's still smoking. He's got his Mighty Whites and he's got his vapes and he's got all that shit there. You're in a jail cell like that, you're going to go monkey-ass crazy, which he already has, apparently, by his own demonstration. Yeah. He's smoking away like a fucking chimney, man. Smoking something, but he's smoking something. I'm making no thing about it. I'm having a cigarette. I'm going to have a cigarette right now. I'm not going to hide it, although I don't smoke on camera, because I think it's rude. Hey, what's all this, dear? Something spill over from the fridge? What is this?
Water?
I don't know. It's yellowish.
Ah,
something. Oh, pickle juice. Oh, that's great. Yeah, is that what it is?
Yeah.
From the bottom drawer? Mm-hmm. Okay. You see how like we talk to each other? This is not planned. This is how we communicate with each other. We have a loving relationship, which is something that he's never had. And that's my tone of voice with her all the time. You know, this is how, you know, we get along and we mesh, and it's like day. It's like this every single day. It is strange stuff when he says he'll never be in a room by himself with a child or a woman. It's like he can't control himself like he would do something. Wow. Pretty strong statement. I won't elaborate on it though. But I hear you, man. I hear what you're saying. I'll acknowledge that. And that's where projection comes in. That seems to be a big thing lately. We're talking about projection. You know, we all know this, and this is not an illegal statement of any sort because we've all heard this. You know, Barry Gaga told everybody openly on here about how he was molested by a family member, and particularly his father. Now, again, I don't claim to be a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but I've lived a long time. I've learned this and I've learned that, and you learn by reading, believe it or not. Some people actually read and learn. This is projection. Now, listen to this. He admits that his father sexually abused him. Who do we know him at for the past 10 years, whatever he's been on YouTube? We know him as a very bitter person, right? We've established that, right? Have we not established that? Okay. And maybe he's bitter because maybe he is actually projecting. Again, I hold no pedigree, as I call it, in psychology, but it's just more common sense. A couple of things to point out. And you know I'll point these things out. Okay, let's start off with him always talking about wanting people to come over there and suck his dick. Could this be related, perhaps? Just a thought. Just a thought. Not an accusation, but a thought. That he's projecting about what happened with his dad? That would be good psychology. That would be a good projection as an example of projecting. I mean, he already said it. It's common knowledge. Not breaking a law here or nothing. He's told that story numerous times. He even said that I thought it was funny that his father did that. No, I never said it was funny. I said that was a disgrace. I said that was a very sad thing to happen. But do you notice something? How could you not? You know, his bitterness is like off the scale. Very negative. Never anything good to say. And always talking about wanting to get his dick sucked. Why is that? Why is he always making reference to a male organ? Whether it's me, tell you what you can do, Frank, you come over here and suck my dick. Really? Oh, wait a minute, you're into women, right? And you said you're married. Well, we know you're not, but, you know, and you said that your preference is women. But for some reason, you know, a Freudian thing going on here. You know Freud is, Sigmund Freud, Barry. You know who Sigmund Freud was? Okay. That's why we use these expressions. It's a Freudian slip, like when you're referring to your so-called wife as your girlfriend. Oh, I mean, my wife. And things about talking about a man's penis in that way. Oh, you say, oh, what did you do a song, this thing about the song with this kid. Well, I'm getting a little off track, but on one hand, you know, but then comes on his show, right? He comes on his show and says, no, do I really think that Frank would ever touch a child? No, I don't think that. I don't think he's like that. But yet, in the same breath, sort of, he's calling me a fucking pedo. And admits he calls me a pedo, and court evidence showed he did. It's, you know, which, I guess the question is, which is it? Am I a pedo or am I not a pedo? I mean, you like to use that word a lot. You like to use that word a lot. So, which is it? I think you're a little bit confused, son. One hand, you're saying, he's a pedo, he's a pedo, he's a pedo. Which, by the way, with his free speech thing he always talks about, is why he, and sometimes he needs to be straightened out to understand. I never did nothing. What did I do? So I called him a pedo. Big deal. Well, it is a big deal here. Anywhere, really, not just the Philippines. As a result of that, Einstein, you got, like 5 charges against you that you think you're going to beat. He already pleaded guilty. I know. He's going to get a slap on the wrist, and he's going to go home and be happy. Well, let me remind you of something, that you're going to come back to the Philippines and join your girlfriend, and you're going to, I don't know, what are you going to do, really? How are you going to support her, or how she's going to support you? But, well, more likely that. How's that supposed to happen? Because if you're convicted, I mean, you admitted guilty, so that'll be a conviction as far as the court is concerned. And if you have a conviction, it's bad enough that 7 years of overstay, that's bad enough not to allow you back in the country, but to be on trial on 5 charges, cyber libel, as he likes to say, and the judge comes up with a decision, a conviction. You become a convicted criminal. And that's for sure 125, not 100, 125% that you will never be able to come into this country. Not 1 year, not 5 years, not 10 years, and you won't be able to fight it legally, and you'd never have the money to fight it anyway. Let's get the facts straight, son. You will never be able to come into this country again. Face the reality. It's about time you faced a little bit of reality and get out of your delusional mode, which I understand is part of your incarceration and why you are acting the way you are. It's pretty sick, Barry, I must say that. Yeah, you've been in there a long time. Then Popeye comes on, who hates the shit out of you. But now all of a sudden he's jumping fence a little bit, supporting Barry. Oh, I think you've served your time, and all that. And now Popeye's talking about, I got reliable sources. I got boots on the ground. You got to boot up your ass. And that Nika's going to be approached by people, again, it's usually that word coercing. Seems to be a popular word on here now. Because that's basically what Barry did with his girlfriend. Admitted it, too. Yet denies it at the same time. So Popeye wants to try to coerce. Now, how you want to pronounce it? Coerce. Nika, in some way, to say bad things about me in lieu of maybe making some pocket coins. Isn't that what you're saying, Popeye? But he comes out with a statement saying that Nika, and I sent her that. I sent her the video. As soon as I heard it, sent it over to her. So you are accusing this poor girl, polio, can't walk, father died, mother just died the other day. She has better things on her mind to worry about than these clowns trying to not have any compassion for her, but no, wanting to use her as a tool against me. Wanting to use this poor crippled girl as a tool against me. That's how desperate they're getting. And that's how desperate Popeye. You see, Popeye hates my guts. It's a mutual thing. I don't even need words for that. It's a mutual thing. But Popeye just wants to see the worst happen to me. No matter what. Even to go and kiss Barry's ass and come on his show and kiss Barry's ass. Popeye knows everything about Barry. Barry is not Popeye's favorite person, let's put it that way. But he decided to come on the show to kind of push his little theories, which he has a lot of. All unfounded, of course, but just out of his own misery, of his loneliness, not having a woman for like fucking 30 years or something. I don't know how long she divorced his ass, a long time ago. So his duty is to go on YouTube and just crank out these videos and skits and put his comments in of what he thinks about me. Well, Popeye, I really don't give a shit what you think about me. You know what? I'm in a relationship. Oh, and Barry, again, pushing this shit about, you never talk about Gilda. You never talk about Gilda. Well, let me ask her, and I'm not putting the mic on mute for anything.
Right.
How many times, Gilda, do you hear Barry talking about you?
Non-stop.
Nonstop.
Yeah, they always talk about me. I don't know why. Maybe he liked me.
Yeah, I just think they're attractive. Yeah, they're attracted to your daughter. They're attracted to you. They're upset that I got a good-looking woman who's been with me for, yes, it's been 9 years. I don't know why they're questioning that. It's been 9 years. Barry says, of course, Barry knows everything. He's in the relationship with me, right? He knows when I met her, how long we've been together. Oh, blah, 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 blah. The fact is, we are together. We're in a loving, healthy relationship. Healthy, loving relationship, not based on money, not based on lies, not based on me being an ATM machine, which is funny because the fact is, she's got more money than I do. I don't have a lot of money. She has.
They said you're my ATM.
Yeah, I'm your ATM.
My God. How comes, man?
Yeah, I'm your ATM. You should be mine, really. Yeah. But you see, we share things. We share things. We share things. Everything. We don't go out grocery shopping. Sometimes she'll buy the groceries. Sometimes I'll buy it. It's whoever takes out their wallets first. That's all. We share.
Yeah.
We're not greedy with each other. I don't have any expectations to pay all the groceries and her to pay all the groceries, and she don't have any expectations of me, no matter what it is. Legal fees, anything. You know, we both share on this because she shares my beliefs about what's going on and what's happening and how Barry has really gone out of his way to make a total fool of himself and the horrible things he said about. He says he never talks about Gilda, but every show he puts on, he has to talk about why is she with me? Well, Gilda, why don't you, I'm not putting my microphone off or anything. I'm not putting things in your head. Why are you with me?
Because I love you. I love Frank.
Yeah, am I forcing you to say that?
No,
Right. So you're with me for like how many years is it now?
9 years.
9 years. We had an anniversary. Right. Right. So, coming from her mouth. So if it's coming from
So
her mouth,
many like me.
I know a lot of people like her, and you got to see.
Somebody said that. I said that's why people's always talking to you in YouTube because they like you.
They like me.
Yeah, they like you.
Well, they
like
must.
you.
I mean, if I'm that popular and they come to my channel and listen to me all the time, they must like me. They must like what I say because they're always there. I mean, I know me. If there's a YouTube channel out there and I'm not really happy with somebody's content or they're boring, I don't go back and listen to them anymore. I make it curious sometimes. All right, what are they talking about today or something? That's it. But what is the same old rhetoric like Barry shows? I mean, he doesn't even need to put on a show because all he has to do is take one of his old videos and put it on and you're hearing the same shit over and over again. And what do you hear? What do you normally hear? My microphone is not on mute. What do you normally hear from Barry? What does Barry talk about all the time on his shows?
They always talk about you, about immigration, about pedos, about my kids.
And let's say that for the open. Did Barry or not message your children?
Yes, he's sending message to my kids. They sent message to my ex-husband.
Yeah, and it said, yeah. And she is, and it's a fact. She is married. She is married. But the thing about that is that he don't give a fuck because he's been in relationships. Everybody talks about this all the time. Just not letting a cat out of a bag or nothing. Yes, she is married. And the only person that can do anything about that is her ex. That's it. Nobody can report it to the police. Just a fact of law. They've been separated for a long time.
Yeah, you met already my ex. Remember, you talked to my ex?
Yeah, he was over here one day. We got along just fine.
Yeah.
Did we not?
Yes.
Yeah. Shook hands, and he's a nice guy. And he's never had a problem. So, using that as a tool, you see, here in the Philippines, there is no divorce. And I can't even begin to count how many people in relationships with other people that just happen to be married. But it's a thing between the two. Do they get along? Is there any animosity between them? There's no animosity here. Why would there be? I'm raising two of his children. Why would he have a problem with that? It means no responsibility for medical bills, college, or anything like that. Yeah. Anthony says, you share your life like a normal, regular couple. Geez Louise. Yeah, exactly. It is brisket. So yeah, you're committing adultery, Frank. You're with a married woman. And many others are. But it's the husband, the spouse, not a police report, nothing,
What is the problem?
that has to make that report. So I'll get it out, and I'll put it out from my mouth that we are in a loving relationship. There's no divorce because you can't get divorced in the Philippines. Simple as that. 9 years together, and if old Jimmy boy wanted to do something, he would have done that a long time ago. As I said, I even met the guy personally. And he was laughing about it. There's no problems here. And he does speak English, actually. And he's a nice guy. I have nothing against him. He has nothing against me. So end of story. Yeah, she is married. I'll get it out. I'll tell you out of my own mouth. I never denied. But you guys made your own assessment, which is fine. There's a lot of people in relationships out here because there's no divorce. You think the woman is going to give up her life and not move on with her life because a piece of paper says that she's married? It doesn't work that way. People have to go on with their life. And if you don't really find yourself in a loving relationship with somebody that you're married to, you separate and you move on with your life. That's what you do. It happens in America too. But it's the same thing. The same thing. The only person who can put a report in if something like happened, okay, and there's a reason and rhyme, is the spouse. The spouse, not some Joe Blow on the street or on YouTube. It doesn't work that way, as Barry likes to say. It don't work that way. Don't work that way. Yeah, she is a married woman. That's right. She's a married woman. On paper, anyway. That's about it. No love lost between the two, if you know what I mean. However, if old Jimmy boy has no problem with that, why should anybody else have a problem with that? Why? Read the law. You go to police station right now. I know a secret. She's actually a married woman, and they shouldn't be together. That's adultery. That's adultery. Oh, and clear something up with Barry. Oh, she can't testify because she said that she was his caretaker. Well, she is, and I'm her caretaker. He has a problem with that. We take care of each other. And who says we can't be in a relationship? Who said you can't be living together, loving each other, and loving each other? You're tearing me apart every way. Anyway, you're not tearing anything apart, dude. We're in a loving relationship. Oh, Jimmy Boy knows it. Jimmy Boy don't care. He doesn't care. If he doesn't give a shit, and not to mention that he's been in a few little girlfriend relationships himself during this many years of separation. So go after him and say, oh, Jimmy, you're committing adultery, Jimmy. Because we're all sinners here, huh? We're all sinners. Those out there without sin, go ahead and cast the first stone. Cast the first stone. No, I haven't really been hiding it, but I'm not gonna hide it. You got something to say about it, go ahead. The fact is, we're together and we're gonna remain together. And nobody's gonna change that because of a marital status. Oh, I gotta take a quick piss. All right, I'm back. What's that? Oh, you want to say what?
Yeah, my ex-husband is no problem. So Frank and my ex-husbands, they meet already and they talk. One day they visit here with some relatives, but no problem.
Oh, there's never been a problem. Has
Yeah.
there ever been a problem with him?
No,
Right. Does it not benefit him that?
they move on already. Not like some YouTuber, they cannot move on.
Very good statement. Unlike some YouTubers who can't move on, they've moved on. I've had relationships where I wasn't married, and we broke up, but we moved on. Settled our differences and whatnot. Married or not married, you move on is what you do. But some YouTubers can't move on. So as far as using that as a tool against us, it's not a tool. Not one bit. Unless Jimmy, that you like to talk about, unless Jimmy thinks differently, maybe you should try to coerce him. You tried everything else, folks. Maybe you should try to find him. Say, Jimmy, man, hey, you want to make a little bit of money? Like you're doing with Nika, right? Popeye? Yeah. Yes, she was married. She is married. It is her ex. Been long separated, about 12 years. He's had girlfriends, so on and so on. There you go. I'm not going to hide anything.
Yeah, there's the big problem of YouTuber.
The only people that have a problem with this is YouTubers and hateful asswipes.
Because nothing to do, just only doing for YouTube, then talk something. So many there, and don't tell me, mostly.
Yeah, she's going to go she's going to be going to make a trip to Cebu, and she's probably going to stop by and see our gal Nika. Yeah. Going to say hello to Nika. You see, Nika hates us so much. Boy, I helped that girl out so much. It's almost ridiculous, really. Nika has never had anything wrong happen to her. And hey, how many times did you come over with me? One time that I went there and I did some videoing, right? And you were there every single time. Were you not? Every time we went over Nika's, you were with me?
Yeah, with you.
Right. Right. And there was always somebody there, whether the father or the mother.
The father, the mother, and
It was
sister.
her sister? I think it was her sister, yeah. There's always somebody there. Nika has never been left alone. I think Barry says that word. Alone. Alone, like a Lona Beach in Bohol. You got to leave me alone. Alone. Sounds like Alona Beach.
Yeah.
Okay. Come on, a little more dialogue, guys. Okay. You can say what you have to say on
Yeah,
here.
they do. Popeyes do that statement because he want you to react.
Well, that's the whole purpose. They want you
Yeah.
to react, of course, you know. So now they can't really push this shit with the who's married, who's not married, you know. I've actually said it in the past. I mean,
It's not a problem because you know what? If you people is not perfect, so some partner also they married and then they get divorced because they don't along together with the
but there's no
Yeah.
divorce here.
yeah. But here is no divorce. But me and my ex, we talk about that and then we don't file the
I mean, in other words,
Yeah.
nobody has a gripe with each other.
yeah.
They're not at each other's throat. And although she doesn't talk to him, they just go about with their lives. He goes about with his life, and she goes about with hers. And
it's not
her
fair.
ex has no problem with that at all. So, phooey on you with that shit, thinking you can get Jimmy to do this, and Jimmy's going to get the house. Why don't you tell them about that? That Jimmy's going to get the house when I'm gone. What do you have to say about that?
No, because my ex is not like that. They don't care about the house. As long I'm happy and then my kids happy. That's it.
Yeah, I've heard that too. He's happy. The kids are very happy with me and Gilda being together. They have no problem. They support it. They know I never say anything bad about their father, their real father. One father. The kids don't have multiple fathers. It's one
There's
father.
only one father.
But Barry has a problem about how many kids you have.
Yeah, maybe he's the one helping me to support the kids.
You're going to help us to support all those 8 kids, Barry?
Oh my God, because it's the big problem for that guy.
Seems to be a big problem for Barry how many kids
I
you
have
have.
a kids. I don't know
Yeah, she
why.
does have 8 children, not from me. And I'm not. Am I supporting all your children every day? Do I ever help them out?
You help it
Yeah.
out. for the
Okay.
kids.
Am I supporting them all the time?
Yeah.
In what way?
Medical.
If they need
Yeah, if they need a medical, sometimes
uniforms for school
yeah, you
or
give
something,
something
right?
extra allowance.
Sometimes I do that. It's up to me.
Yeah, but we never ask Frank, but Frank's voluntary give to my kids.
Yeah, they need something. That's what you do in a loving relationship, Barry and Popeye. Well, Popeye wouldn't understand that.
And then my kids did never asking money for Frank.
No, right. They never asked me for anything. Never. Brisket said, did you hear Barry's story about fishing with his uncle? Very disturbing. Yeah. Oh, yeah, about him and his uncle taking out their dicks to compare size. What is it about a man's dick that he's so infatuated with? And how many times have you heard Barry on here, Gilda, talking about come over and suck my dick?
Yeah.
Don't you think that's a little strange for a man to keep on saying that he's infatuated?
If you are the man, you cannot say about that. That one is a personal. Your what happened to your personal in your body. So you don't say
Well,
anything.
that's not the point. I mean, the point actually being
Ben, what,
that
for
he admitted that he had, unfortunately, we do see it as
something.
unfortunate, right? Gilbert, that his father, in his own, his own words, Barry's own words, and you've heard it, right? His
Yeah.
father
Yeah,
did
no,
some
that's-
funny stuff with him growing up. That's all been out on YouTube and been cleared up. And we think that's a terrible, we both do. We think that's a terrible thing to happen with him. But we do feel that he is projecting a lot. And don't you think it's unusual for a man to keep on telling people who likes women and claims that he's not interested in men? Don't you think that's kind of strange, Gilda, that he's always talking about come over and suck my dick?
Yeah, it's very strange. Because if you are the good person, you don't see about that.
Well, it's not have to do with being a good
Yeah.
person. We know he's not, but point being, and correct me if I'm wrong, point being, when a man keeps on talking about another man to come over and suck his dick, don't you think there's something a little strange about that?
Yeah, it's very strange. Maybe
As a
he's
Filipina and as a woman,
he's- mostly saying like that is a gay.
it sounds gay when you say that. I
Yeah.
understand. I understand.
Because I hear some gays doing like that. Because I got some friends also like gay. So
And by the way, how many friends do you have that are actually married and with foreigners right here in Santa
I
Fe?
get a lot.
So that's a pretty common thing.
Yeah, it's very.
And why is it common? Because
Because some
there's no divorce.
no divorce and
That's why.
no divorce, and then some Filipina, if they married for Filipino and then they got the problems, something like that, they break up, then no divorce, and then now they have another man, especially foreigner like that. I got a lot of friends like that too.
Yes. In other words, it's not an uncommon thing
Yeah.
out here. It's like, oh God, they broke the code or something out here. They broke the code. You got a problem with that, Barry? Bring it up in court. They're not going to want to even discuss that. It's irrelevant. And unless her ex makes a formal complaint, they don't mean a goddamn fucking thing. And you know the law here with that more better than I do, Gilda.
Yeah.
You think the law gives a shit whether or not you're married or not and you're in a relationship? And our relationship, I'm going to give you a little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. Well, we are together. She is my caretaker as well as I am her caretaker. And you got a problem with that?
Yeah, they
People.
get problem for that.
Yeah, what's your problem with that? We do live together, yes. Legally, that don't mean shit in court. Because, yes, she is my caretaker. She always will be till the day I die. And I, as long as I'm alive, are going to be her caretaker. So Barry has a problem with that for some reason. Yeah. Let's see the comments. AJ says, you have the woman, you love her. You love her kids. Let me tell you something very personal. The other day, now understand something in here, in this country, showing affection is not something that they do. Now in America, the parents gives their kids a kiss goodbye when they go to school. Have a great day, love you. They don't express themselves out there
No,
like that.
me and my family is not expressive.
Yeah, now she's not the first person
Yeah,
I've heard.
I'm not
Yeah,
expressive person.
they're not expressive.
Mostly of my family is very shy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very typical as part of the culture. In fact, I don't see even her friends that come over. Okay, she would not give Gilda a hug goodbye.
We do that one texting or calling. We say I love you.
On a text or something. Yeah,
Yeah, but
right.
in personal, especially they get somebody the other persons with the
That's part of the culture out here. Predominantly, you're going to see that. You're not going to have like, of course, when I grew up in America, my mom would say, more so my mom, you know, my dad didn't really get into that huggy, feely type of thing, but my mom would say she loved me, have a good day at school, bye-bye. You know, they don't do that out here. Now, the other day, I was having call it a frank talk with her, one of the older, two children with us, her older one who just turned 15. And we were talking about things and all that. You know what? I gave him a hug. I told him I cared about him. And he said that he cares about me too. And that was a touching moment. He didn't expect that. But you see, me, as part of my culture, put myself out and maybe made him feel a little uncomfortable for that, but he took to it and hugged me. Yeah, we care about you too, he says, and I care about you. And that was really touching for me because we've never done that here. We never done that. Brisket says he can't support 8 kids. He can't even support and keep 8 teeth in his mouth. Yeah, I agree. Brisket says, I agree, Gil. The bummer seems very bakla. Yeah. Yeah. It's just a lot of jealousy. I could use that terminology over and over again. It's the truth. There's a lot of jealousy that goes on. And look at Popeye has not been, I don't know how, I don't know the exact amount of years. That guy has not been with a woman for probably since he got, since his wife divorced him. Of course that's going to make a man bitter. Just like Barry has reasons to be bitter. You know, with everything going on with him, the fact that his child doesn't want nothing to do with him. I already admit it's open thing. My daughter didn't want nothing to do with me, and it's the same thing here. I mean, I'd like it to be different, but sometimes it's things that you can't change. So things sometimes you have to accept in life. Does that mean I stopped loving my daughter? Of course not. I love her to death. People change, or the politics are different. This goes on in every family. It doesn't have to be your daughter. The only thing she did wrong, really bad, was that, you know, not allowing me to have the grandkids in my life. Now, that was a bad. I must say that. That was a bad. Okay, I got to read the comments. Brisket says, regarding the fishing, Uncle is there. Any male in the family he hasn't seen there. A lot of fruits in that family. Yeah, any male he's never really seen. Oh, the thing about the boating, and they're like, you know, comparing their fucking dicks. Oh, come on, man. Is that a hillbilly thing, or is it just sick, or is there something more to that underneath the surface? I don't really know. It's embarrassing for even to put on these stories. Oh, no, tough guy wrapped a guy around the tree. I got my dog Dodo here, or my cousin. Always his uncle. Everything's about his uncle. I wonder what happened with his uncle. Everything's his uncle. My uncle's dog Dodo. Dodo. The only person that Dodo is making the story. Something like that. It sounded like his dog's name was Dodo. See that man, dude? Dodo? He did wrong. Tell me the truth about what you did with my niece. Guys, I didn't do anything with your niece. Dodo, bite! Dodo, bite. And he bites his foot. Great storyteller, anyway. Maybe that's the way you make some money. He's a great storyteller. Great storyteller.
Yeah.
And Danny said, oh yeah, I'm going to have him bite your nuts if you don't tell me. I said, I told you. I didn't do anything to your niece. Go for his nuts. And then I just left him there, and I just called the police and, you know, said there was a guy tied to a tree. Oh, God, what a great storyteller this guy is. Maybe he thinks he is Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz with his little dog Toto. No, it was his uncle's dog. It's his uncle's dog. Always his uncle. Isn't that the uncle that's like 8 foot tall? The grandiose stories. Everything has to be bigger than it is. Barry's height. Hey, you're back. My son of all sons. There we go. Showing respect, taking my hand. This is what they do. To their head, this is what they do.
Cycling is over.
Okay.
You have
Dixie's Dorothy.
33.12 kilometers in 162 min and 20s and consumed 1,000 kilocalories.
Were you riding your bike?
Yeah.
Oh, for exercise?
Yeah.
Oh, good for you. See, these well-adjusted kids.
You've been in Madrid?
Where'd you go?
Only Bantayan.
Oh, you went up to bed. See? Okay. Cool. Kids are healthy, they're getting good education, they're getting good grades. They couldn't be with anybody better than me. And we're doing a job for her ex that he's happy about. You don't have to pay no medical bills, doesn't have to put him through school. Her ex has got the ideal situation when you think about it. And you can bring this up in court too, Barry, that she's married. Knock yourself out. He's going to tell you that's irrelevant. And it is irrelevant. He'll tell you, well, did the ex-spouse or whatever, did he make a report? No. Well, then it's none of your fucking business, doo-doo boy. It's none of your fucking business. Then I hear them say, well, why don't you get an annulment then? Why don't you get an annulment? I'm fucking 70 years old. I've been with her for 9 fucking years. I'm going to spend $500,000-$600,000, whatever. Well, she spent it on a lawyer, though. Well, that's a whole different story. I'm willing to spend a hell of a lot more than $600,000 on a lawyer for that goober. There is no limit on what I'll spend on him to get the justice I deserve to get in regards to his future. You got a problem with her being married, well, then you got a problem with a shitload of Filipinos out here because there is no divorce. Catholic Church is making sure of that. So what are they supposed to do? Not go on with their life? You really think that's going to happen? They're going to live in solitude without a man because of a marriage certificate? No. That ain't going to happen. Let's see. Brevis must want to take Bummer out fishing sometime. I get you. I get your drift on that, Brisket. Now, I want to ask my viewers, do you have a problem with a marital situation with us?
No.
Does anybody have a problem out there?
No, they don't have problem.
No, I'm asking the viewers. I mean, do they have a problem with our situation, what her status is? Or what would be the problem with that? And the fact that I don't pay for an annulment is because by the time the goddamn thing would come through, I'll probably be fucking dead. There's your answer. That's an unnecessary expenditure of money. I know you're going to say, well, you're spending a lot of money on a court case. Well, that's justifiable. Yeah, Brisket says in regards to that, he says, it's how it is in the Philippines. Kiki says, who cares? It's a common arrangement in the Philippines. Thank you very much, viewers. That's exactly how we feel. So in other words, the woman is supposed to be celibate and not be with another man that she doesn't want to be with and suffer all her life because, well, there are laws in the Philippines. They call it adultery. That's the terminology. You'd be correct on that. Well, there's a hell of a lot of adultery going on out here, more than meets the eye. She's got at least 5 friends that she knows of that are in relationships where they are indeed married. Go after them too. Why don't you find out who they are? I have no problem. I knew that from the beginning. That didn't bother me. Why? Because she was honest about it, and because I had an awareness at that time from understanding things about the Philippines that there is no divorce out here. So a woman has a choice to make. Should I be alone? Alona, as Barry says, alona. Should I be alona? Alona. The rest of her life? Because there's a certificate that says that she is married to another man where neither one of them want to be in each other's life and they've been separated for many, many, many years, and they both have evolved, and have entered different relationships, and he's had 2 relationships actually since they separated. Maybe you should go after him. Let's see, what's this? Kiki, to Jimmy, you must be a blessing. You have elevated his family opportunities in life. Yeah, I should thank Jimmy for that. Right. Brisket says, Bummer is jealous. Shaw isn't married. Could have been another dude to compare Johnson's with. Yeah, well, no comment to that. You know, when a guy has to compare the size of his dick with another man, there's got to be something to say about that. That just doesn't sound right to me. I don't know about you guys. I'm not going to put words in your mouth. It just doesn't sound right to me. When he constantly is saying that he wants me to come and suck his dick, and okay, to be fair, it's not just me. He says that too. When somebody disagrees with him on something, he'll either block him or he'll make a statement, "I want you to come and suck my dick." Now, look, this is just my thoughts about it. And I don't know what your thoughts are, but my thoughts about this. When a guy is obsessed with that statement and keeps on saying that he wants another male to come and suck his dick, it would make you very suspicious about his sexuality, wouldn't it? I mean, it certainly made me suspicious. What man goes around wanting to tell other men, come here and suck my dick? Something very suspicious about that. Why hasn't Shaw ever married? You know, something interesting here. I can't answer that, but Barry's quote, mind you now, disclaimer, Barry said that she was in an abusive relationship with a man. Okay, now we're starting to understand. Some women, and I'm not saying her, I'm going to be just very general. And listen up. A lot of women that are in abusive relationships tend to gravitate toward another wife syndrome that I talk about, similar to that. You know, some women, and I'm not saying her, just for the record, I'm not saying her. Of course, he'll turn that around, of course. Some women actually like being in relationships with a guy who's abusive. Go figure, right? But hey, I'm not a psychologist, and not pretending to be one. I put it right out front. I'm not a professional in that field. But it seems strange to me because this man has no attributes from what we as a community, disclaimer, we as a community have witnessed. So the reason in rhyme that she's attracted to him has left a lot of people scratching their heads, saying, I don't understand it. Well, you don't really have to understand it. It has to do with any female in general, their background, and what kind of relationship they were used to. If you dated men who have abused you, and that's what you're used to, then it's very acceptable to be in another relationship with a man who possibly, keyword, is abusive in a relationship. I don't have to be Sigmund Freud or anybody like that to understand that. Okay, I gotta read my medicine. Yeah, I know that, Scooter. We were talking about that. Popeye went on Barry's stream at 11 a.m. Florida time, and Popeye sounded like he had already drank a couple of more than beers, man. AJG Anthony says, there's a Senemar, but is there a virginity Omar? Kiki says Shaw's using him as much as he's using her. All right, that's your statement. I'll make no comments on that. You can put two and two together and come up with your own conclusion, whether it equals 4 or it equals 5 or 6, like he would probably come up with. A very educated man he is. How many math mistakes is he making so far that people talk about all the time? Then he'll come on and say, I know I lie. A lie. How do you say liar? Liar. He goes, I know I lie a lot. Well, thanks for admitting that, but we already know that. So how does anybody want to believe you? The boy who cries wolf all the time. They're going to believe anything you say on your show, Barry, right? When you have a history of lying, it's not like a now and then thing. It's a constant thing. It's a chronic thing. Whether she's using him as well, it is known that people do use each other in relationships. Yeah, that happens quite a bit. Someone wants, okay, for example, you got the age gap relationships. I'm talking about the major ones, the guys like 80 and girls like 18. Of course, you got to blink your eye and scratch your head on that one. It's generally a relationship of need. One is serving the other for some purpose, and the other one is serving a purpose. The Filipina might be in that situation using him as a tool to make money, and maybe he'll leave her in a will or something, which is not a real relationship. It's a relationship out of convenience and finance. He, in turn, an 80-year-old man, which is unheard of in America, unless you're a rock star or something, to be with an 18-year-old girl or less. Let's spread this, network this out. Even less, okay? He wants to relive his youth. We've talked about that on my show. It's like reliving their youth. And you couldn't get away with that in Western states, Western society, of course not. So they're both serving a purpose to each other, correct? And if that's let's call it a business arrangement or whatever you want to call it, that's fine. If that's what both parties decide to do, I guess there's nothing wrong with that, if that's what they both want. And the girl realizes that, well, I got to kind of give him my body in order to be able to live that better life, to live better than I've been living with my family. Then as much as I find a guy gross, a hairy chest, or he's overweight, stinky breath, no teeth, or whatever the situation might be, in any particular person's situation in general, that's what they do. Kiki says Jerry's washwoman should buy her hand towels from Shaw. Yeah, spread the wealth, Spread the wealth. A lot of people use each other, but maybe not as much as you think. I mean, I get kind of tired when I'm hearing all these, a lot of the Brits coming in. It's a British invasion coming here now. Oh, Brits and Australian. A lot of Brits. And they're all experts on Filipinas, and they might have not even been on this show in a long time, but they're all experts on Filipinas. And they're trying to make excuses as to why they're with somebody that's like a half a century younger than them. You make all the excuses you want. But I love her. Well, it's more like lust than it is anything. What does somebody 80 years old having something in common with a woman, even in her 20s, even in her 30s, even in her fucking 40s? What do they have in common? Now, me and my girlfriend, we have a very good ratio. She's a mature woman. She's not a granny. That's in a sick mind. They call them grannies if the woman is actually an adult. Because the foreigners that come here, they're used to getting, women that you could probably categorize as children. And when somebody's actually a good age, an adult, they call them grannies. Well, some of them can't even get these so-called grannies in their own country. They wouldn't be a granny in the United States if a guy that's 70 years old is dating a woman who is just turned 50, and they've been together for 9 years. This is my case. It's appropriate age. It's a good age there's not this great age gap of 30, 40, even 50 years. Now that's sick. Sorry, but it is. I don't know if Jerry's woman is a wash woman. I'm not going to say that about Jerry. I don't like the guy, but I'm not going to say she's a wash woman. It's just this same kind of rhetoric that you find on YouTube all the time. Labeling people as something that they may or may be not. And of course, talking about their wives. And, you know, Barry never does that. He's always making reference to Gilda. Is he not? Am I lying? He's always making reference to her, almost every show. Why would she want to be with me? And she's already said it on the show. I asked her. There was no hesitation on the microphone. I didn't put anything on mute. I asked her, why are you with me? And she told you, because she loves me. Real love, Barry. Not as a tool. Real love, Barry. Despite the house, despite anything, she's been with me for 9 years. Yes, it has been 9 years, and you're trying to rewrite history. He hasn't been together with her for 9 years. Really? You better tell her that, though. Maybe we're both confused. 9 years. And her 2 children that's living with us here, I've been together with them for almost 9 years. They're like my own kids. And I told them so. I don't have compassion. Oh, gosh. If I had to go on here and discuss and display every act of compassion I've had in my life, you need a 10-hour show. I'm not compassionate. Okay. If you say so. I got a bigger heart than anybody on YouTube here, and I've showed it in so many ways. And he finds it a problem that I'm being a responsible person. I have 2 of her children that live here. And what am I going to do? Ignore them? I'm not going to feed them because they're not my biological children? You have a sick mind, Barry. I know you don't like cats, you don't like dogs, you don't like children, you don't like anything, and you don't like yourself. And that's what the problem is. You're bitter because of what happened to you as a child. Get over it. You're a grown-ass man. You're about 50 years old now, man. You are 50. Live up to your fucking age. Get over it. Get over it. Grow up. Yeah, something bad happened to you in your childhood. Yeah, I understand how that could affect your life. I do. I understand that. No, nobody misunderstands that. But it's time to put that in your past or see some kind of counseling. Instead of spending your money on booze like you've been doing all those years and cigarettes, you could have been spending it on counseling. And they would help you get over this horrible event that you went through as a child. I never laughed at that, really. Come on, when did I really laugh at that? I thought it was a horrible thing that happened to Barry. I think my viewers would agree with me. It's a horrible thing. I do feel for you for that. Do you hear what I just said? I feel for you for that. My words. It's a horrible thing. When they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, unfortunately, that can be true in most cases. Because Barry does a lot of projecting on here. It's like every time he comes on a show, it's an autobiography. Everything that comes out of his mouth is exactly what's going on with him. Everything that he comes out of his mouth that he says, I say, is actually what he's been saying. He doesn't realize what projecting is. He doesn't understand the meaning of a lot of things. He didn't even know what nuptials meant. Well, I don't know. I don't have much of an education. Well, apparently not. But I'm not holding that against you either. That's a choice you made in life. That you were too dumb to finish fucking school, that's not my dealing. That's yours. Maybe you should have stayed in school. You might have learned a thing or two. But to come on your show and constantly talk about, he sung a song with a kid. He's a pedophile. But then he comes on, go see my videos I just put out. Just all those 6 videos was just from one show. that he did. What they say the time was? 11 o'clock last night? Well, I don't know. I was in bed, son. I don't stay up for your shows. And he says, which doesn't make any sense at all. On one hand, you're a pedo, you're a pedo. Then he turns around and says, well, if you're a pedophile, that means that you actually do touch children. It means that you do bad things with these children. That's a pedophile. That's a pedophile. Trying to define it for you now, Barry. But in the same breath, no, and you all heard it. I got it on there on a short. No, I don't think Frank would ever do that to a kid. I don't think he ever touched that kid. Then turns around and calls me a pedo. Then says, no, he's a groomer. A groomer. Well, which is it? I'm a pedo or a groomer or both? That's just as bad as calling me a pedophile. But at least he openly admits that he called me a pedophile. But where it becomes really insanity comes in on this is that, you know, I don't think Frank is capable of doing anything like that. I'm sure he never touched that child. Then why did you call me a pedophile then? That was a very intense statement, and that's why you have 5 charges against you. If you can't still figure it out, that's why you have 5 charges against you, son. Kiki says, this community thinks people who are capable and a provider are simps and losers. What a pathetic outlook. So in other words, I'm a simp if I'm taking good care of her children that live with me. I'm a simp if I have to help out occasionally to her other children. They need a uniform for college. Yeah, we sometimes pay some of their expenses on when they go to another level or graduating. They need some kind of a supply that their father cannot provide. And that's why Jimmy loves me. Because the truth is, he does not help out his kids. He does not make enough money to help out his kids. And he's ecstatic about the fact that me and Gilda are doing a great job with his children, of loving them, taking care of them. That's what a real man does. He wouldn't know anything about being a real man. That's what a real man does. You don't say, I hate kids, I hate dogs, I hate cats, Chet. He hates everything, but mostly he hates himself. Brisket says, college equivalent in Bummer's family is going to jail. Graduation. It's graduation time. This time I'll go to the penitentiary. Look, Ma, I made it from juvie hall to penitentiary for beating my wife up. Isn't this sick? This is sick. I mean, this is really sick shit. I mean, this goes beyond being sick shit, man. Coming from his mouth. I've never heard a positive thing he's ever done in his life. Never heard a positive thing. Have you? Everything's his uncle. I don't know, comparing dicks with his uncle on a boat. I don't know what the hell this guy does. What's that all about? What man is going to be on a boat or anywhere and say, hey, man, I'll bet you that case of beer, like he said. I got a bigger dick than you do. Barry says when he takes a piss, he has to lay his dick on the cover of the, it's so big it has to lay. Well, we saw the toilets, there's no cover on there. But we don't want to know how big your dick is. Why did you send me a picture of your dick? So I'm trying to put 2 and 2 together here. Why would any man who's a real man send another male a picture of his dick? Who does that? And then where he's always talking about, come over here and suck my dick, kind of makes you wonder, guys, doesn't it? I'm making a very safe statement here. and legal. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Frisky said, "Hey, Ma, I'm going to get my master's in the PH." Yeah. Masturbation, yeah. Barry, you know the truth is, man, I don't care what size your dick is. Even if you did have a big dick, you have to know how to use it. You got to know how to please a woman. Okay? You got to know how to please a woman. And if you're a respectable woman to your partner, you don't refer to her vagina as a wet taco or a hairy this. They said this so about a hairy pussy. It's gross. I mean, he makes sex sound ugly. If anybody can make sex sound ugly, he does. Nobody cares about the size of your Peter. I don't care about the size, but why are you always talking about wanting somebody coming over to suck your dick? That's a Freudian thing, I think. Kiki says Bummer has a master's in deep frying and a PhD in flipping waffles. Ah, see, you're good for something there, huh? I'm actually enjoying this show. I've been coerced on doing another live show here. I've been coerced. Uh-oh. Let's get back to Nika for a second here. Let it be straight that Nika contacted me and she never asked for a dime. That's not why she was calling me. That's not why Popeye or Barry. That's not why. She just wanted to tell me because she felt she needed somebody to talk to. To let me know that her mom just passed away. She did not ask for 1 peso. However, I volunteered and said, well, I'll tell you what I can do. Give me your, and you still could donate to her, folks. It's still on there. Give me your information where you get your donations from. That's all. I helped her out in that way. And Barry said, well, did you give her any money? Who says I won't? Gilda may decide to stop by there on her very special trip to Cebu that she's going to be making soon enough. She was thinking about stopping by and saying hello to her. What a great opportunity that if I did something wrong to Nika, what a great opportunity, right? For Nika to tell my partner what Frank did to me. See, I wouldn't be there with her. She's going there alone, Joe Hossifer. Son, she's going there alone. Alone, as Barry likes to say it. Great opportunity for Nika to spit out some really crude stuff about me of what I supposedly did. See, here's the point, folks. There's only one time that Gilda was not with me when Nika was being visited. And that day I spent filming or video recording, a better description, video recording, the house, the conditions. The father took me around, showed me that little tributary in the back and how when it rains hard, that might as well call it a sewer, builds up and actually can go up all the way to their actual doorstep, which I found astounding. It was just incredible to even hear that, knowing what's in that river. It's a cesspool. I've done nothing but try to do good for Nika. She knows that. Now Popeye comes on. He's got boots on the ground. Always boots on the ground, these guys. They love to say that. Boots on the ground. And I got it from special sources, reliable sources that this and that and this and that. And that Nika is going to be approached to try to do a case on Frank. Here we go again, right? They want to coerce, famous word. Not many people use it on here, but Barry sure did. He learned a new word, coerce. I never coerced my girlfriend to do anything, but I got a recording that says he did. He did, indeed. You wonder if Bummer let out a yeehaw every time he flipped the waffle. Oh, he's got that hillbilly yell, that hillbilly rebel yell. I won't even try to do it because it's a hard thing to do. Only a hillbilly could do that. I can't do that. And when Brevis came over with the brisket and everything else, and he gave out that hillbilly yell, that was a scream. I loved it. I literally loved it. You can't get more hillbilly than this guy. Now, is that an insult? Well, hillbillies wouldn't think that's an insult. If you're a hillbilly, you're a hillbilly. How do we generally define hillbillies in Western society or any society? Well, generally you got to have hill. I'm sure there's hills there in Alabama. Okay. A hillbilly is generally somebody who lives generally out of urban areas, out in the countryside. They live in shacks with little smokestacks on them for wood burning. They live a poor man's life. They don't have much of any education at all. And they don't speak as if they're very intellectual, don't usually have the capability of doing so. That's a hillbilly. And then when you give the hillbilly rebel yell, that's even more proof of a hillbilly. I mean, there's more. Go look at that family that's all over. What was the name of the family again with the inbred hillbilly family? In their case, it was inbred. And I'm not saying that Barry's inbred. I didn't say that. Although people have questioned because he has two different eye colors and a lot of other things. But I didn't say that. It was people on YouTube that said that. Is he inbred? No, I'm not going to make a statement to that. Bad teeth and bad body odor. And Brisket says the whites. Okay. So, I don't think there's anything wrong with being a hillbilly if you were grown up to be that way. Some people are forced to live in that situation because they're poor. And they try to do the best they can. Yeah. And hillbillies go back to, hundreds of years. They form communities with other hillbillies that have something in common. They're all uneducated. That's how you define a hillbilly. They're all uneducated. And they go shoot coons. They shoot coons, and when they finish eating them, they make a hat out of it. That's a hillbilly. They shoot squirrels, or just shoot birds for the fun of it, just to see if they could test their gun to see if they're a good shot. Fun stuff like that. Killing some innocent animals and teaching their children to do the same thing. See that demdar bird over there, son? I want you to hold this rifle up. I want you to take a deep breath. Focus on that poor little bird and pull the trigger. Yee-haw! That's a good thing, son. Go after them critters, and that they call animals critters. That's a hillbilly. Critters. Kiki says, if you live in the U.S., there is no excuse to be poor. The opportunities are there for those who want it. Absolutely. All right, the immigrants come in there. And whether you like immigrants or illegal or not, they come in America and they make something of themselves. You got to give them credit for that. They come in from poor and poverty themselves, but they come to America, a place where he was born, and they come from a different country, and they try to make a success out of their life to feed their family, and they take responsibility to their children. Unlike this goober, who doesn't want to pay the child support for his 2 children. He's irresponsible in that nature. The kid wants nothing to do with him because he wasn't a good father to him. You still love your son. Stop buying fucking Mighty Whites and fucking Jim Beam all these years and start sending money to support your son. He's in his, late 20s now or something? Probably needs your help. He needed your help when he was a child, but you didn't help him out. You ran away. You ran over to the Philippines is what you did. To run away from your responsibilities, son, boy. That's what you did. That's what you did, son, boy. That's what you did. You run away from your responsibilities. Then he's talking about, I'm trying to make money. Where? Am I monetized? Am I asking anybody for money on my show? You're doing it with every fucking show. Then he's saying I'm a con artist. I take money off people. A con artist coming from you? I mean, Pennsylvania Trucker is just one small example. Apparently he's forgetting how Pennsylvania Trucker was generous enough to give 25,000 pesos for Sheila, earmarked for her store, to help her get it going. That was nice of him to do that. So Barry tells Philippine Trucker, no, don't worry about it. Just send it to me. I'll give her the money. I'll give her the money. And it's a known fact. It's all over YouTube. What did he do? What did he do? What did you do, Barry? You took about half the money and you gave her the rest. You pocketed half the money that was earmarked specifically for her. You stole her money. So don't fucking preach all this crap that you don't take money from people, that you haven't taken advantage of people. That's an out-and-out lie. And you know that. It's an out-and-out lie. Cliff, Prince, Sheila, other people. Goes on and on for the 10 years that you've been in this country. You took advantage even from the first girl you met. When you were living over, Lake Cebu. You fucked her life up too, is what you did. Everybody's life that you touched, you hurt. And that's a fact. And that comes a lot from your own mouth and with the things you talked about on YouTube. And from people who actually know that to be truth. Let's get back to Popeye for a second here, because I know he's recording this. Popeye, you come on Barry's show, all of a sudden licking his balls. Are you going to take that offer to suck his dick? What are you going to do? You might as well suck his dick, because that's exactly what you're doing. See, Popeye just wants something bad to happen to me. He can't stand Barry, but he came on his show to give a little support. Anybody that would support Barry, he don't care how bad they, whatever relationship he's in, if they're willing to go his way, he'll kiss their ass and try to get them to kiss his ass to do something. Nika is not interested in putting a case on me, Popeye. With your boots on the ground and all your resources and all this bullshit, she is not trying to, in your words, she is not blackmailing me. She's not holding me hostage to such thought that she's going to say something bad about me if I don't give her money. She didn't ask me for any money, Robert Clausen. She didn't ask me for any money. Nothing. I volunteered to put her information out if anybody wanted to help. Don't change the story around, which you're famous for doing. Why don't you fucking find a real hobby, Bob? Why don't you find a real fucking hobby? Better yet, find a woman that will put up with your shit, and God bless you. Go on your way. Find a woman and you could bitch and whine to her, but this time learn not to beat up your partner, if you found one. like you did to your wife. Okay? You're getting old. You need a companion. And don't make YouTube your companion, your home prairie companion. You got to live with life you have, and if you have a breath, to use your breath for something good rather than something that sucks. Get your life together, Robert. If you find a woman, then you won't have to talk about all this shit because your concentration will be on your woman. You won't have a reason to play soap opera on YouTube. Find yourself a woman or buy one. Do what Ricky does. He seems to enjoy that. He's not having a problem with that. You could do the same. Find a companion. I'm not your companion, Robert. I'm sorry. I'm not your companion on YouTube or any other way. I'm not interested. Brevis' life improved since knowing Bummer. LOL. Does that have an underlying meaning on that one? Shh, I won't tell. All right, guys, we've been at this for an hour and 39 minutes or something on here. Just watch my shorts on there and catch Barry in such really embarrassing statements. Understand, Barry, what a pedo is. A pedo is a somebody who is a child molester, absolutely. They will touch kids. They will do things like that physically to children that are not very proper. But in the same sentence, Barry is saying that, no, I don't think Frank ever did anything with a kid. He sang a song. But still, I still think he's a pedo. I still think he's a pedo. I can see him in the court. He gets to speak after admitting that he called me a pedophile and knowing it's wrong. That's why he's on trial. But, Your Honor, he's a pedo. He's a pedo, Your Honor. He would do that. He would do that. He would. I promise you. Popeye, look, getting back to you real quick again, since you're recording me. Look, see, and I mean it seriously. Find somebody to love you, besides like your daughter, okay? I'm glad you got somebody that cares for you anyway. That's a good thing, to have a daughter. Okay, but, here's the thing. Sometimes just going to bingo, maybe you should try to find one of these blue-haired ladies in a bingo parlor that might be interested in you. You can go take your mobility scooters out together, go into the countryside. You could talk about your illustrious naval career like she really wants to hear it, but you could boast about yourself like you normally do. Yeah, maybe some blue-haired, gray-haired old lady at bingo will actually converse with you if you really try. But when you start talking about me at the bingo hall, that's going to turn the women off. You can't be that obsessed with me, Popeye. You can't do that. How many years you got left? I'll be real honest with you. I don't know your health situation, except you are riding a mobility scooter, probably for a reason. But what if things got worse? Look, your daughter can't be caretaker to you forever, okay? Don't put that burden on her. But if she loves you, she'll take care of you. Don't worry about that. You got her by your side. She'll help you out. But you know what? It's even better if you find somebody to fall in love with and to get your mind off all this YouTube crap. And you have something else to talk about. But unfortunately for you, you'd probably ruin a relationship because you'd be spending all the time obsessing about me. Hey, Mildred, let's go listen to Frank talking on his YouTube. Let's find some shit on him. Come on, Mildred, let's get our boots on the ground. Popeye, that is sick. And I think you are sick. I think a lot of people are sick on here. Oh, and Popeye says, I'm not interested in anybody else's woman. What did you do with Joey? Two things. You were going after Joey's woman, and you were going after Joey's daughter. Now that's a fact. No libelous statements here. That's coming from Joey, who kicked you out of his fucking house because You were flirting with his daughter. And you were drinking up all his fucking booze. He's feeding you meals. What did you do with Joey? Why don't you tell us what the truth is about what happened with Joey? Trying to go after his daughter. Let's get Joey on here sometime, if he's listening. Let's get Joey's story. But this has been talked about before. This is already known information presented on YouTube. I don't go after anybody else's woman. When I'm in a relationship, I'm faithful. Yeah, like when you were in a relationship with Sheila, for example, right? When Mario had his girlfriend, okay, on Tinder, contact you. You remember that, Barry? You remember that? And you were in a loving relationship with Sheila. You wanted to marry her, everything else. Remember that, Barry? So Mario had his girlfriend. It was brilliant, actually. It was brilliant. I'm going to start talking more British here. It was brilliant. It actually was brilliant. And you were in a loving relationship with Sheila, right? Isn't that what you said? With all the women in a loving relationship? Here's the facts. Tinder was the place. Tinder. While he was in a relationship with Sheila, Mario's girlfriend came on. For the hell of it, Mario said, let me see if I still find Barry's profile on Tinder. And lo and behold, while he's in a relationship with Sheila, like he did with every other woman, he still had his own profile on Tinder. Oh, he certainly did. Oh, Popeye sounds terrible. He's deteriorating at 70. So what happened was, and I told the story before, it's a truthful story. The guy you know is Mario, okay, which is not his real name, but not even the other name. But they decided, and I didn't have them do this, okay? This was all on their own accord, just to let you know. I didn't coerce them. Coerce. I didn't coerce them. They decided to take it upon themselves, and they shared it with me. So she came on there, put her profile, wasn't her real picture. Okay? She wasn't going to do that. And he saw an opportunity for conversation. And they proceeded. And they were talking for a while. This all while he's in a loving relationship with Sheila, mind you now, okay? Maybe his girlfriend will learn something. You remember I said girlfriend, not wife, will learn something from. No, she never does, though, but whatever. It's her gig, right? All right, so continue conversation. And Barry kept on asking, well, we got to meet. At the time, he lived what would be called a walking distance from, would that be Manila? What would that be right there? From J Mall, where they had the old immigration center. Yeah. So he kept on telling, well, let's go meet. We'll meet at the J Mall. We'll meet outside of the J Mall. On the terrace outside, whatever, the lobby area outside. And kept on asking, let's go meet on Saturday. And he kept on asking and asking. She kept on putting her off, but he kept on writing her. Okay, come on, let's meet. This is all while he's in a relationship with Sheila. He was on Tinder the whole goddamn time. Because the way he thinks is that, I know with my disposition, my relationship ain't going to last. I always got to line somebody up. That's what he did on Tinder. That was his favorite place to go, was Tinder. Probably still is. Tinder, mind you. Always says his girlfriend, he tells them what they want to hear, that he loves them, we're going to protect them, we're going to get married, going to have kids, we're going to have a house, we're going to have our own store. Makes all these grandiose promises to these women so they could stay with him. Being as gullible as and naive as some Filipinos can be, they can be. As emotional as they are, they fell for his crap. The truth is, every woman he had, if he found another woman that he thought in some form, shape, or way that was better looking than the woman he was attending to at the time, he'd leave her sorry ass behind. That's what he would do. He would do it with his present girlfriend right now. I have no doubt about that. That somehow he was let out or whatever. If he met somebody that he, not me, deemed to be, say, more attractive than her, he'd go for it in a New York second. That's the way he operates. That's the way he operates. In a New York second. In a New York second. Because he's never felt he could get any quality woman. And if he could get a good-looking woman that'd be interested in him, that's glory days, man. That's like, I've achieved something I could never do. To get a woman like that interested in me, dang, dang, dang. He'd drop a woman in a New York fucking second. That's a quick second. That's my show. I hope you enjoyed it. Popeye, you need a new gig, okay, man? You really do.